talking about The Wire, how
The Wire.
Yeah,
Oh,
The Wire. Yeah, good transition. Yeah, I'm getting better. How was that? You know, the audition. How
that was a very one of a kind experience because I hadn't done TV in a while when I first went in for that audition. I had been living in Atlanta. I was doing music stuff. I was sounding like Jermaine Dupri for a while and all that kind of stuff. So I was in Atlanta doing that. And then I came back, and one of the first auditions I went into was for The Wire. And now prior to like going to Atlanta and stuff, I didn't have like the braids and I didn't have like all the like, I didn't look like I belonged in that world as much. Cause like I said, I was doing the I was like the kid, but like the clean, very clean version of what I was selling. So then when I came back to Chicago, one of the first things, I got an audition from Ted and Pascal, and the first character they had me read for was Michael.
Oh, Michael.
Yeah. And I read for that, and I guess they sent the tape in, and they were like, we want him to read again. And then they gave me the sides for Randy. And I went in, I read for Randy, and after that, I literally went out of town. I was performing at the opening of a Disney World in Hong Kong. So, it was pretty cool. So I went out there to do that, but they were like, hey, we want him to like test and do whatever. So all the other kids test on this one day, but I wasn't there. And so then they had me come back to test in Baltimore on my own. And yeah, it was a much more relaxed than your usual testing process, just because also, let's be real, The Wire had one of the lowest budgets probably on HBO. So it was like
one of the best shows, though.
Bro, I know.
And I feel like maybe the low budget helped because they shot on location and everything looks so real.
It was real. It was gritty. It was what it was supposed to be. But even things like that, like, I did my test at the production office. The production office was like kind of in the middle of fucking nowhere in Baltimore. And it was this tiny little office. Like even when we had school and shit, we had to do school at the production office. So our parents are just fucking sitting in the kitchen of a production office for hours. And they're like, this makes no sense. You know what I mean? Because once again, I'm sure, the Stranger Things kids had other things and stuff. Right. But like they didn't care. Even with my deal for The Wire, it was, once they knew they wanted me and stuff, my dad went through hell trying to get that deal done because we hired the attorney we used for my first TV show and everything else. And so, the deal they were offering, he was like, this is a joke. Like, it's an HBO show. It's been on for 3 seasons. It's a rather successful show for its,
Right.
And you're saying that you're going to pay all these kids the same. He's had a television show 15 years ago and still has been working ever since. Like, he's worth more than, it shouldn't be favored nations. They were like, okay, well, call my dad. Your attorney's ruining this, so we're going to move on if you don't get somebody else or take over from here. And so it was like, what you going to do?
Damn, so they was willing to drop you?
Hell yeah. Because once again, what value am I? It's back to, and this is why having metrics in today's times can help you, because it's like, we don't really care. And the kind of show it was, like even like 50 Cent had asked to be on The Wire at one point, and they told him no, because he was too famous. So it's one of those things, like they kind of want who they want, but it's not like we can't get this done with somebody else.
Did you know about the show as you were auditioning?
I had heard about it once or twice, but I never had actually seen it. But I also think that worked to my advantage, just for the simple fact of, each season kind of tackles a new space.
Yeah.
And when they, go into the kids storyline, like we all came into it. Most of us hadn't seen it, or I don't think any of us had really seen it. So it was cool because we went into it just like a bunch of kids. Like I was 14, Julito was 15 going on 16. The one who played Dookie, Jermaine, he was 12 going on 13, and then Tristan, he was Mac Wilds, he was 16 going on 17. So we were all like a year apart. We're just kids. Like even that first episode where we like throw the piss balloons and all that kind of stuff, that was really like within our first month of hanging out together, being together, starting to befriend one another. So it was really as innocent as it looks. And as the show went on, they would play tricks like, in the beginning, we always had school together. We always had all these things together. Mm-hmm. As the show went on and our storyline started to change, they did little things like my school time might be by myself. Mm-hmm. Mac's school time would be by himself. We just weren't around each other. We weren't on set the same days. But it also helped create that, like, we were kind of distancing.
Right.
Yeah, and they did a lot of genius things like that when I look back, I'm like, oh, damn. Like, there was a lot of things done intentionally.
Right.
So back to the contract thing and you guys getting paid all the same. In that sense, like social media and the whole thing where you can show numbers now is kind of a benefit in
Big
that
time.
sense, right? Because
time.
now they can, because back at The Wire's like an OG show before it was even cool to have fucking series,
Right.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Where series are coming out all the time. It's got to be also like top 5. Top 10 all time.
It's on my top 5.
Fucking show.
It's Sopranos and The
like
Wire
all
for me.
time show, like Sopranos, The Wire, like on that type
And
of level.
Breaking Bad, and I don't
Yeah,
know.
no,
what
no,
else.
that's
So they
literally how I feel. Yeah, it's
So
it's
they
those
had a
3.
lot more leverage, right? To be like, well, all right, fuck you.
But at the time, it
at the
wasn't
sense,
seen
it
like that.
wasn't
Yeah, but
even
at the time,
about
it wasn't
that.
seen like
at the
that.
time, like,
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
It's like it's one of those shows that grew, like after the fact.
No, not just The Wire though, but like you couldn't have. Like, no one would know that they were saying that to you. Now you could go on like, hey, these motherfuckers just saying, fuck me, and I got this. You know what I mean? Like, so it's more
I don't know if
exposed
that's
now.
gonna help you. Though.
But that's not gonna help. You gonna get that video off, and that's it.
No, I'm not saying to do that, but to negotiate your contract to get more money than the rest of those kids because you have a bigger platform, obviously.
But here's the issue, though.
Can't
Too.
get it.
If you flip it, it could have been one of them situations too, where it ended up being. If we did have the internet, they might have been like, "Fuck this kid. We got this kid who has 10 million followers."
Yeah.
And then
But that's what I'm saying. There's like good.
there's
But there's also
bad.
like a bad side to it.
Yeah.
But also, don't you think that this is the same thing with like The Rock? But now we have like The Rock is like the highest paid actor. When he started, he was fucking trash.
But that's my point.
But he was just known. Like he was coming from WWF.
But that's my point. If your biggest movie star is one of our
But he's
biggest
gotten
movie
better,
stars is
no?
The Rock. Yeah, well, I
He's
like
gotten
The
better.
Rock because he has grown. But I just said one of our biggest movie stars was Will Smith. Will Smith's the first rapper to win a fucking Grammy. He's a rapper. This is how this has always worked and will continue to work since they've allowed it to start happening. Shit, Tupac was damn good too. He's a rapper. Like who has one of the biggest shows in the black community or all on Star? 50 Cent, he's a rapper. Like, and I'm just saying, like, so it's gonna be that celebrity and that
50 doing his own shit though.
No, he is. But I'm just saying, still though, it still comes from you need that relevancy to parlay it into something else because honestly, the person who has that is always going to beat you out. The Rock, prime example, WWF made sure that at the time, WWF made sure that they built movies like Walking Tall and all these kind of things so he could get his looks. Once he got his looks, he became a movie star. Sure, he got better, but we're still talking about one of our biggest movie stars is a
John
wrestler.
Cena now, same thing.
They ran the same play with him.
He's funny
And
now,
he's
though.
damn good.
John Cena's funny as
I
hell.
really liked it. Like, but still saying, where does the regular act like? How many Denzel Washingtons are being made nowadays? This is not like that. You got to come from something else. LL Cool J, that nigga on Equalizer. He's a rapper. Queen Latifah. Oh no, that's Equalizer. He's on NCIS. She on Equalizer. Rapper. Like, and I'm just saying, like, and that was rapper. I felt like was before you had influencers. Now you're starting to see on shows like Grownish and stuff. You'll see, oh yeah, Lil Yachty's on there, Drewski's on there. Some of the artists from that band The Internet are on there. Like, it's just influencer shows because that's what's going to keep the kids engaged.
So for The Wire, are you a Marlo Stanfield or Avon Barksdale guy?
Avon.
I'm an Avon guy, and he's from
Avon?
Chicago.
Yeah.
Wood Hair's from Chicago, so I got. But no, Avon all
gangster.
day. Avon all day. Marlo. I obviously Jamie Hector's a great actor. I love his storyline and stuff, but now I like the way Avon handled himself more. Like it is like he really believed the code.
Yeah. Marlo was fuck the code. He was like,
Marlo was more like fuck.
He was a psychopath.
It's that new, but I also feel like that they were showing you, and we always are going to see this. That next generation is always a little bit
Evolution.
more. Yeah, like even shit. That's why we don't have a mafia anymore. Like people moved a different way.
So fucking disappointing.
Just saying, but it was also
So
like
disappointing.
Like even think about this: the
Mafia kept people in line.
Well, even think when people
They just
started.
fuck around in the neighborhood.
But think when people just started ratting, like that was like the beginning of the end of the mafia.
Yeah,
like,
your character.
Is that your character like the biggest rat on earth?
Yeah.
And I keep seeing.
I set myself up for that one.
Every time somebody rats on somebody, you side by side on the internet with their face. I seen you with Gunner.
Like, I felt bad for your character.
With 6ix9ine. I seen you. You out there with all the legends of snitching. There's a Mount Rushmore of snitches. You might be on there.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, it's crazy because even in the storyline, people always, they love to call me the snitch, but it's one of those situations where I had to do it. Yeah, I mean, you had to. I'd say the only time Randy, in my opinion, was really snitching was like when he was in that teacher's when he was in the teacher's office.
When he said about the rape.
Yeah, but which also, I'm not going to harp on that too much, but I also want to just show how what year did that come out in? We're talking 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
And what was it about? And you see how that was still an issue then? Just saying. So Randy wanted to get himself out of a Me Too situation in 2004. Just think about that. It's always kind of been a thing, people. So after that, when he's sitting there, he's like, I know about this. I know. Right. He doesn't want to go back to the foster home, but he's snitching. I'll give you that. In that scene, he's snitching. But it's like harmless snitch. Kid's going to get in a little trouble, whatever. Says he knows about a murder. Sure, he thinks that's going to be his saving grace, but he really doesn't know shit about this murder. He knows literally what everybody else knows. He gets seen talk, like either leaving a police car or people find out some way, but they don't really know what he told them. And it's when you really look at it, it's like, damn, like he shouldn't have said shit. We know this, right? He should have just let it pass. It would have, but if you tell the police what everybody knows, you're not really snitching. You're just like, yes, he was there at 3:00, but y'all know that already. So what, am I telling? No, I don't know who shot him. So what can I tell you?
You got in the car.
I got in the car. Maestro would not get in the car. I would not entertain.
So you entertained the conversations with the police.
You don't agree with Bunk's philosophy on like it's a community and we need to protect each other?
I think that there is, and I'll put this in even the society we live in today. I do think there is a level of protection that we can supply one another, but I also do think that the infrastructure that has been set up to police that isn't always in our favor. So, it's the difference between sometimes it is better to whoop somebody's ass than to, dime them out to the police. Sometimes the consequences might be a little bit different. You whoop somebody's ass, they still have a future. They still can possibly go get a good job. They still can do some things. You get them caught up. It may be somebody who made one slip up. Like, I just think the community aspect, we should try to police each other, but you can't. I don't always believe the other side is going to be as forgiving. Oh. And so it's.
So you condemn Randy's actions?
Yeah, I don't think Randy should have said no. He shouldn't have said anything. He should have let that.
I feel bad for him. He had Dookie had the worst fate, but yours the second worst.
Yeah, well, because he tried. I mean, that's the frustrating thing when you see a good kid in a bad situation. You're just like, damn. You are trying to do the right thing. It's just your environment is literally fucking you. And you're being put in situations that if you weren't in this environment, you wouldn't even be in. And that's a real storyline. That was one of the things they also said, like all of our characters in season 4 were based off of kids that either David Simon or Ed Burns had actually come in contact with. So there was a Dookie, there was a Randy, there was maybe they had different names, but like Presbeluski, I think is even Ed Burns' storyline.
Michael B. Jordan, I know he played in The Wire. Was that season 3?
That was season 1. Wallace.
It was 1?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Okay.
But and that's another person, and this was what I was showing you. You can take that back to Giancarlo Esposito. Oh, he's on one of the greatest shows of all time. No one gave a fuck until Fruitvale Station.
Right.
So,
right.
Friday Night Lights, cool. He did that for a couple of years. Did anybody really give a fuck? No. Fruitvale Station happens. Now this is what everybody wants to jock. Then he found a great team. He works with what's the
Black Panther
name? Yeah, what's the director's name? Ryan Coogler. They work together. They make fantastic stuff together. He's able to build and do. But it wasn't like nobody after being on that show. We're talking Michael B. Jordan has had the nigga was in Hardball. Let's not forget these things. Michael B. Jordan
was in Hardball?
Michael B. Jordan was in Hardball. I'm gonna fucking brain up even more. Michael B. Jordan was in the fucking Sopranos as an extra when he was like 9 years old. In a flashback scene where Tony, if you've watched Sopranos, remember the flashback scene where Tony's like sees his dad committing a crime at like the
cutting the finger?
No, not cutting the finger. It's remember he
gets arrested in the.
He's in the trunk. Yes, remember
he gets arrested in the
theme park at the carnival or something.
Isn't that how a career grows though?
No, but
they're supposed to pluck him out at 9 years old. Maybe he's gonna be the Black Panther for sure.
But at the same time, to have a large career and then not to really get a real break. Me and Michael B. Jordan did a whole episode of Cold Case where he plays my brother, and it was fucking. I know they got both of us for under $10,000. Like, what are we talking about? I'm just saying, I was 16 at the time, so we're talking 2007, 2008. I'm just saying, like, it just takes time to build and grow, but you got to find that piece that people want to jock. If you don't have that movie that they want to jock or they want to move forward, you're just a good actor, and we'll catch you when you get the thing. That's just that.